Hello and welcome back to another 5K tennis discussion. Today is Saturday,
December 21st.
December the 21st, 2019, and we are here once again to sit back and talk about some tennis. Let's get down. You ready, Carla?
Oh, you're wearing a good color.
It's Christmas, so I went with the YTEX red fleece, I guess you could say.
No, it's just a jacket, dry fit jacket.
Yeah, and Carla went with my husband's wife is freaking awesome shirt.
That's me.
All right. How about we just start talking about tennis? Let's jump right in. Before we know it, Christmas will be gone, the New Year will be gone, and the Australian Open will be here. Let's roll. So what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to start off today's show with a topic. I think I wrote down a lot of topics, or a few, and then Carla wrote down a few. I don't know what she wrote, and I don't think she knows what I wrote. So we're just going to start with topic one, see how far it gets us, and try to make it short and sweet for everybody today, right?
Right.
Be ready for the fantasy teams, by the way. The tennis racket giveaway on top of that coming up for the Australian Open, so stay tuned for more about that as the tournament comes more close into view, all right? Topic number one. Here we go. You ready?
Yep.
You ready? Hope so. All right. This past year, 2019, Canadian tennis did exceptionally well. Well, I think everybody would agree with that. You know, Andreescu, Shapovalov, Felix. We have Raonic still in the mix there. There's a couple other guys out there. Pospisil, I think. So there's quite a few, and surely we missed a couple of them. But I want to pause real quick and talk about a couple of players, actually 4 of them that I jotted down that are Canadian tennis players. And I want to find out if anyone, Carla, all of you, thinks that these players will be better, the same, or worse than in 2019. Are you ready?
Sure.
All right, player number 1, Carla. Milos Raonic. Will he be better, worse, or the same in 2020?
I think we've talked a lot about Raonic, and some people believe that he'll get better and he has potential to do a lot. I think we'll see less and less of him. I think it'll be worse. He's older now. He's always getting injured. I don't think we'll see a good 2020 for him.
All right, so your answer to that is Raonic will be worse.
Worse, because I just think there's a lot of young guns coming out, a lot of players, veterans too, that are improving, and he just seems to get injured a lot. His extreme grip on the serve and awful forehand, and he just seems so stiff when he plays tennis. I don't think it'll be good, a 2020 for him.
All right, you have him at worse.
Worse.
I will put an asterisk next to this one. I think he will be better. I say that because he's injury prone. If he can stay healthy, I think he will be better. I really liked the photos, and I forget what tournament it was in 2019 where his girlfriend...
He's 28 years old now.
Yeah, he's still young enough. But his girlfriend was on the sidelines, and he was playing a match, and she was freaking out on the sideline, like, oh, gave us all these weird looks, you know? I like the girlfriend's energy. So, as far as I know, I think they're still a team.
Well, I mean, he made the finals 2016. French Open quarterfinals is the furthest he went in 2014. Australian Open semifinals 2016. That's 3 years ago. About to be 4.
I say Raonic does better, asterisk being if he stays healthy. Yes,
ranked 32.
Yes, he has an exaggerated grip on serve. Yes, he kind of overcranks the forehand a lot. However, I think he has a better year. You said he was, 31, 32 in the world right now?
Right.
He's a better player than that. I think he climbs back into the rankings. Maybe not into the top 5 or 10, but I think you'll see him within the top 20.
Monfils will have a much better year than him.
I disagree with you there. Poll question, does Gael Monfils have a better year than Milos Raonic in 2020? I say Raonic has a better year. Okay. I say Monfils is coming to a close of the career as a whole. Just saying. All right, next player. Felix Auger-Aliassime. Will he be better, the same, or worse in 2020?
He'll definitely be better. He had a good clay season. We saw him get tired a bit at the end. He didn't do so good at the U.S. Open. Lost in the first round to his best friend, Denis Shapovalov. They played again. I think he will have a better year. He'll know how to set his schedule a bit better because, you know, he's learning his way around. He needs work on his serve, which I'm sure he's doing. He'll be bigger, stronger. I think he'll have a much better year. Absolutely.
All right, you're voting for better.
Yes.
First of all, before I run through my take on Felix Auger-Aliassime's 2020, let me go ahead and tell you that I think he is a fine player. I love his court conduct. I love his court presence. I love his humility on court. I've never seen him looking like some schmuck powder or some rinky-dink shrieker. He is a solid player, and I love watching his game.
He's number 21 in the world right now.
And I hope the best for him. With that said, however, you just said it. He's 21 in the world now. I think he falls in the rankings next year. He played a lot of matches this past year. Correct me if I'm wrong. I have not looked this up. I don't want to spend a lot of time, glancing at statistics that we should have been prepared for. My apologies, or our apologies there. But if I remember correctly, Felix Auger-Aliassime had one of the busiest schedules in all of tennis last year.
And that's what happened. That's it. He made a mistake. He was a young guy thinking he has a lot of energy. We know he has some heart issues, minor issues like a heart murmur.
Can anybody tell me players historically, especially recently in the maybe past decade or two, that got to be number one in the world or in the top of the world by just playing a whole bunch of tournaments, but not making a lot of big time noise in the big ones? Let's look at
Safina.
it. Safina. Wozniacki got to number one in the world because of it. Look at Marcelos Rios.
Jelena Jankovic was another one.
So we'll stop it.
No, but he's young. He's young. He made the same mistake. Serena, Venus, all of these players used to play a lot of tournaments.
Okay. Here's a question. You answer it truthfully. I think Felix Auger-Aliassime played, again, one of the highest frequencies of matches throughout the season. In other words, he had
clay season.
He had a ton of matches. Let's say you took half of those matches away. Would Felix Auger-Aliassime have enough ability to remain 21 in the world with half of the matches? The bigger, in other words, alleviating some of the smaller clay tournaments, as you alluded to, and just play mostly 1,000s, 500s in the majors.
Well, yeah, but he wasn't.
Would he be able to remain 21 in the world?
Yes, because he's going to accumulate more points with the bigger tournaments.
Okay. I think Felix will be worse next year unless he plays in the same amount of tournaments, which is taxing on the body, which you can't keep up for very long. Ask the likes of Safina, Rios, Wozniacki, who finally won her first major doing so. I think it's worse because of that. I think if you took half of Felix matches away, or tournament entries last year, half of them away, and put him with more top players at all the tournaments, I think players like Tsitsipas, etc., will leave him behind. I think he does worse.
Well, Tsitsipas should leave him behind.
I mean, they're in the same, basically, group, 21 and 19.
No, Tsitsipas has started his career a bit earlier and was advancing and beating the big top players. Felix Auger-Aliassime has yet to do that.
Next player, Denis Shapovalov. How does he do, Carla? Better, the same, or worse than
I think
last
he'll
year?
do better this year. He has the coach Michael Usny, who hits himself. I think he'll do better. It seems like his game has elevated a bit at the end of the year.
Usny salute. I agree with Carla on this one. I think Shapovalov does better.
He'll get more serious about
this. He looks like he's starting to be less spastic, something I would still like to see Tsitsipas to do. I think if Tsitsipas becomes less spastic in 2020, he might win a major next year. But that's not the topic at hand. Shapovalov, I think, will do better. I think he's one of the three. Or I have one more Canadian player. We had Raonic, Felix, Shapovalov now was the third. The first two I thought would. Raonic, I think, better. Felix, I think, worse. Shapovalov, better. I think he's settling in. I remember a couple of years ago, Rafael Nadal, who very rarely makes predictions of who's going to be the next best thing. I remember when Nadal used to say he would be it, and I was like, I don't know, Nadal. I think you're wrong here because...
Time?
Okay. What is it? 8:50? Oh, that's great. All right, so Shapovalov used to kind of flop open on his backhand, and so instead of hitting with the shoulder closed, hitting through the ball, and then not opening up so much, he used to just go, and hit wide open, and that one-hander on the left-handed side, right, was really erratic. Now, but that has kind of been calmed down a little bit, so I think next year is a big year for Shapovalov, so I agree with you 100%. Last player, Bianca Andreescu. Is she better? Think about this. Is she better in 2020, the same, or worse?
I give her the same. It's kind of tough to top what she did already. I think about the same. The true test will be in the beginning of the year, how she does at the Australian Open and the clay season. That will determine if she stays the same.
Yeah, you put it a long story.
Tough to do better than what she did.
I'm gonna go as far as saying worse, and I'll tell you why. She's played mainly hard courts in this first season and did exceptionally well, if not one of the best hard court records ever, right? And to be a relatively newbie on the block, right? So with that said, she was injury kind of prone, not major, but enough to debilitate her a bit. And believe me, I'm an expert with injuries. And they're not fun to have, but I didn't even have injuries at that young of an age. It was more in my mid-20s of high-level playing before I started getting the nagging injuries. So to already have it at 19 years of age is tough to overcome. So let's look at this. She finished the year with winning a major. She had an electric early on hard court season. Didn't play clay. Didn't really show up at all for grass. Shows back up for hard court and again and dominates. Can she do it again at that same level? I don't think so, because she did it almost better than anyone could ever do it. With that said, it's tough to outdo the best that's ever been able to do it with nagging injuries, and still, in order to put yourself in this game across multi-surfaces, an all-court player, an all-surface player, look at them, like the Djokovic's, the Grofs, you name them. You want to be an all-surface player, she needs to show up on other surfaces to show whether or not she's one of the elite. Not just elite on one surface. I think the argument with Nadal is can he be the greatest of all time because he's won a gazillion majors only on one surface, and we're not going to get into that today. But the same thing goes here. Can Andreescu play across all surfaces, a lot of matches through a very long, grueling season, and outdo what she did this past year? I think not, and I think she'll have a worse season. Okay. All right, next topic. It's all yours. What you got, Carla?
I saw earlier that Azarenka is pulling out of the 2020 Australian Open. She missed last year's Australian Open due to child custody that she was dealing with her, ex-boyfriend, Billy McCage. And it looks like it's going to happen again. She's not allowed to leave with her child to the Australian Open. That's what they're saying. Nobody's sure. It's not injuries, definitely personal issues. I think it's sad that she cannot play 2020 Australian Open. That's where she won her Grand Slams. I guess Justin didn't know she's from Belarus, not an American citizen.
I knew she was from Belarus.
But
I didn't know why she was being so confined to this judiciary type proceeding, given that she's a professional athlete. I'll stop there. I'll get into my... Go ahead.
It's obvious she's not an American citizen.
I knew she was from Belarus.
Her ex-boyfriend is an American citizen. The child was born in American soil. And I think she's scared of leaving her son. The dad could do anything to take the kid from the babysitter or anybody that's watching him, because he is the father. And I think that she's probably doing the smart thing by not leaving and making sure that everything is right before they give her permission to do that. I think it's sad that this is happening for her, because she is getting older and her career will come to an end really soon.
Yeah, I heard about this. I think it was late last night. First of all, I've always liked Victoria or Vika Azarenka as a player. I just have never liked her screech decibel level. It's just been quite awful to me. I enjoyed watching her grit and tenacity on the court, but when it comes to listening to her squeal like a stuffed pig riding down the street with an ice cream truck about to run her over, I can't quite watch it. Like when Sharapova plays Azarenka, I just want to pull my ear off and cut my hair off with a pair of rusty fingernail clippers and then poke my eye out and then try to find the hair to replant it back on my head with the ice picker end of the toenail clippers, and I still would feel better off. However, with that said, I think when it comes to one's children, we have 5, Carla. I think when it comes down to them, it doesn't matter about anything but that. So I will leave it at that and say that this show and what we do here is not to talk about people's personal lives.
No, we're just talking about that she's
not playing.
She won't play, and that's sad because she does well at the Australian Open.
I can assure you this, being a father of 5 children, you a mother of the same 5 children, that if anything happened with one of our children that involved maybe one of the children leaving the United States where we live to go to another country in which one parent would have zero control over the other, and in a sense, if the two parties, the spouses were at the point where they didn't trust one another, I would assume that both spouses are in a very tough place and are willing to do whatever to make sure that they get their say. And we'll leave it at that. And I know we would do the same thing given probably the same situation. So I'll leave my take as this. Hopefully the young man or daughter here has the best of the best, and gets to.
He's got a cool name, Leo.
I hope Leo gets the ability to learn some of the fine game from his mother, and I hope that he gets to learn some of life's lessons from the father, and they can figure it out. So. They can all share.
It's always a rough patch in the beginning. It's a rough patch in the beginning. It gets better.
It's a tough deal, and with kids involved, it makes it tougher. Good luck in this endeavor. Surely it's two parents trying to do the best for their child.
Right.
Best of luck to all involved. Next topic coming up. Let's name a few players that if they don't win a major in 2020, they just never will.
I think we talked about this before.
I'm going to name, well, we've mentioned it in a sense. I'm going to name 6 players, 3 men, 3 women. You tell me if you would agree or disagree.
I'm pretty sure I already know. Go ahead.
Svitolina.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
Madison Keys.
Yeah.
Pliskova.
Yeah, we've talked about her.
Men's side, Zverev.
No. Disagree with that one. He still has time.
Dominic Thiem.
Yes.
I get he's the Prince of Clay, and he'll do everything when Nadal leaves.
No, there'll be somebody else who'll take it
come on. You can't be a champion in waiting. You're a champion because you're born a champion.
To me, I think Djokovic would win before Thiem on clay. Just saying, at the French Open.
Nick Kyrgios.
He'll never win a slam. I'm sorry.
Does Nick Kyrgios, with this new potential disciplinary potential looming over his head, does Nick Kyrgios even make it through this probationary period? In other words, Nick Kyrgios has a probationary kind of level. If he goes too far outlandish at this year, he is banned from the league for X amount of time and faces nasty fines with no chance of, what's the word I'm looking for, appealing that. There's an appeal chance, but not after a long time off. Do you think he even makes it through that time?
He'll make it through that time. I think you have good names there, minus Zverev. He's only 21, 22. He has a chance still, but someone like Keys, yeah, her time is ticking. She's around this close, like 23, 24, but I don't see her tennis going anywhere. Slovenia, same type of game, more defense player. Thiem, he's 26, don't see it happening, and Kyrgios, I never see it happening. So, yeah, there's not enough heart there to win a slam. You've got to have heart. You got to work hard. You got to be a positive person, I think, to win.
Yeah, for Thiem, look, one day.
Not that Thiem's not a positive person. Not that he doesn't work hard or has a heart. He doesn't have the game, I think, or the mind. The mental toughness is another thing you need. I don't think he has.
And also, too, though, when I first had this knee injury, I had a whim of just doing some play-by-play thing, which was awful. But nonetheless, Wild Live went out there. What's up, Wild Live 1? Was doing that with me just to have fun. And for almost 2 years on the show, I mentioned Dominic Thiem jumping up and leaping and hitting his one-handed backhand, how much of a problem it was. Well, during that match, and I think Thiem was playing who? It was a big match. I forgot, Tsitsipas, I think, or something. Anyway, he jumped and leaped at his one-handed backhand at the point of impact. He's jumping and hitting, and instead of staying down and hitting through it, jumping and hitting, and his backhands were all over the place and cost him a final. Anyway, if you're 26 and still have not gotten out of that bad habit, then I think it's a dollar short and a day late. I agree with you there.
Pliskova, yeah, there's no heart. That's the problem. There is no heart. She's
even Steven all the time, and being even Steven all the time is good, but sometimes maybe one little spark to light up that boom.
And being smart out there. Just go for the same shot.
Yeah.
So coming to the net a little bit, like try something different. I don't know,
Agree totally. All right, so that's that for that quick topic. If you have any other players you want to add to the list of those that if they don't win a major in 2020, they just never will, let me know. Gal Monfils.
Gal Monfils would be in that list.
Gal Monfils could be on there.
And Raonic also.
Raonic could be on there.
He's another one.
All right, you got anything, Garland?
Yeah, I do. I saw this show. I think you have it on. You wrote it. You asked me what was the name of the show. Roger Federer crying after the exhibition match in Bogota, Colombia, was canceled due to curfew. The country, as we know, they have many, many, many problems in Latin America. I mean,
she's from there, or Honduras.
Not from there, but we know that they deal with a lot of problems. And we see him crying, and Zverev comforting him. It's okay. And the only reason I mention this is because we see Roger Federer cry a lot. So I have this top. Who is the biggest crybaby in men's tennis and women's tennis? Name your top two. I say Roger Federer, to me, cries for everything. They give him an interview, he cries. He wins a match, he cries. He loses, he cries. The other person I've seen cry a lot is Andy Murray.
Boom, I was just thinking that
Cries
one.
every single time. And it's not a good cry. I mean, I like the Pete Sampras. He was crying. That was something to cry about. He retired, he cried. That was something to cry about. But Roger Federer, it seems like he's such a softie. I mean, I just did not see the whole point of him crying after the match was canceled. I mean, what is he crying about? He won about $8 million doing the Latin American tour. $8 million in 5 days. That's impressive.
Well, yes. First of all, I agree.
$8 million in 5 days.
First of all, again, kind of like with Felix, my take on Felix, I'm a big-time Federer fan. I have a tattoo of his logo on my back and a big one. So I'm a Federer fan. How do I put this into words? Okay, yes, I get why Roger Federer cries. Look, I'm an emotional person, Carlo. Carla and I, we can watch Christmas movies or Lifetime movies, and at the end, I'm like shedding tears. I'm like, meh, meh. I'm like crying. Or I can watch like a Bryant Gumbel show on HBO.
Sure, I cry.
Real sports.
Yeah.
Real sports, and you're seeing these people out there compete, you know, and they shouldn't be, and you know, and I look at myself and I'm like, geez, and I complain, and you know, I get emotional too. So I would be a hypocrite not to start out my take on Roger Federer's crying without me saying I probably would cry too, if not more than him.
Every single moment?
Maybe.
I mean, I can understand. The only thing I can say, the excuse I can give him for crying is that he knows that this is his last Latin American tour and he's about to retire. So he's crying for that reason.
The show that Carla alludes to or is referencing, it was called Everywhere is Home, I think. And it was aired as a 30-minute long thing on ESPN where Roger Federer and Sasha Zverev.
And it was great to see.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice to see. But there was a couple of really kind of cheesy, like, is this a man's sport here, or are we like a deer? Like, are we watching a deer race or something? So, and that didn't even come out right, but it was very soft, some of it. So, half of the 30 minutes of the show was commercial. So you're left with 15. You know, any major media network, 30 minutes, okay, well, it's not, it's 15 because the other 15 is commercials, okay? So the 15 minutes that you actually got to see, 9.5 minutes was Federer crying. The other 2 minutes, so that's 11.5 minutes now, was Zverev hugging and cradling Federer. It's okay. It's okay, Roger. I know you're the best, and maybe I can hug you. Maybe you'll be better now. They're all up in Bogota, Colombia, in the middle of riots, like, whoa, and he's all like...
Where you got the biggest drug lords.
Got El Chapo up in there talking about
Chapo's from Mexico.
Oh, same deal. Whatever. All I'm saying is that 9 minutes was Federer crying. The other 2.5 minutes was Zverev patting Roger. I mean, look, I got 5 kids. I wouldn't even pat my own sons like that and be like, "It's okay." I'd be like, "Wake up, man! Grow a pair of balls. Let's get down. Get your butt out. Let's get down. Let's fight. Let's go. Come on." I mean, man. Okay, I'll stop there. But Roger Federer cried too much.
He wins the award of the biggest crybaby. How about the women? I have my women.
Crybaby?
Serena Williams, to me, is the biggest crybaby in women's tennis. She cries for everything. She cries when she's mad. She cries when she's happy. She cries for injustice, whatever. The second one is for a good reason. She cried a lot in the 90s. Was Yana Novotná, who, rest in peace, she died of cancer. She would be the one that wins that title, but respectfully, she cried for a good reason.
Yeah. You brought up Novotná, and I got stumbled into thoughts on that one for a minute. Novotná, I don't know, sometimes you pull out these players.
She died when she was 49. She just died recently. We don't know what type of cancer, but she died. And
yes, sometimes you bring out these players. Like
she was one of my favorite players to watch.
We were doing a show not terribly long ago. We were talking about French Open champions that kind of came and went. You threw out this one female player. I was like, how did you even remember that?
I was watching
But anyway, Novotná, a moment of silence there. Definitely a phenomenal player. Thank you, Chris. I got lost on Novotná. How much time we got? 25. Okay. So that was an amazing player for me, Novotna. Too bad that we lost her to an illness or to a cancer.
And we just found out that there's another player who was fighting cancer. Francesca Schiavone.
Schiavone had it?
7 to 8 months she was dealing with cancer, battling it, and she says she finally won it. She's on remission, and there was a video of her with her head shaved or no hair. So, I mean, there's a lot of players out there that we don't know. They're going through this, you know?
Number one female crybaby / diva would be Serena.
Hands down. We should buy her crybaby.
I'm still a fan. I don't think that Serena working out with Mike Tyson is going to help her win another major. I just don't think it will.
She was punching.
Good PR stunt, but too much, too late. But back to Roger Federer. Does Roger Federer cry too much?
Yes.
Does he cry too much?
Yes, he cries too much. He's a softie. I think even Andy Roddick, when he had him to win that Wimbledon, watch Federer cry after they presented him. What was it? He broke Sampras 15, was it?
Oh, yeah.
That watch him crying. Yeah. Even Roddick, you can see it in his face. He wants to just hit him.
Country boy from Nebraska talking about, man, what you crying for, man?
Yeah.
Smack you with my
battle. He's like, I should be crying. I lost this.
Crying.
Yeah,
not over there crying. And he had like $1,000 sweater on. With the V-neck, he didn't have the 1,000 sweater. He had the blazer.
The blazer.
He had the blazer with the trousers and then the gold.
Yeah,
the white and gold.
He's got nothing to cry about. I heard he made about $93 million from July to July, 2018, 2019.
And I think Roger Federer just won an award for the most stylish man of the decade.
No, he won GQ, and he has a coin. They have a coin in Switzerland. Him hitting a backhand or something like that.
Well, too bad in 2020 when the Australian Open finishes, if Djokovic has to meet Roger Federer on the way, yes, I'm a Federer fan, Djokovic is going to punish him with that coin and slam it in his ear. And then say, cry now, because I own you. Yeah. All right, moving forward. This is a quick topic, okay? A quick topic because we're already pushing time. And I got a long way to go, so we'll have another show after this already written. So this is good. Let's go. Let's get down. Woo! Ric Flair, which leads me into my next topic. Would tennis be good if it were promoted like boxing, WWE, what's the other one? MMA?
You mean smack talk
UFC
players?
No, look, I'm not saying across the board. My favorite athletic event in the world across all sports is Wimbledon. Hands down. Followed by the other majors, and then we get to the Super Bowl and NBA and everything else. Just saying. Tennis, every major will come in front of any other sport out there, hands down. And then even the ATP 1000s. Enough said. Let's say, however, let's make reference here. Let's say back in the day when Serena and Sharapova and Dimitrov were in the love triangle, right? So we had Dimitrov that was kind of dating Serena, and then, do you remember this? There was like some hodgepodge about that Jeopardy category, but just remember that. Now let's say the media took that and ran with that story. In other words, Dimitrov was out of the loop, and the whole year, the media, half of this media team was assigned to Serena, and every interview, they plotted her. So how's Dimitrov doing? Oh, why do you keep asking me that? Kind of like in the NFL rooms, right? You get Baker Mayfield after he threw three INTs and didn't get the ball to Odell Beckham. They're like, well, why didn't you get the ball there? So why do you keep asking me that? Pick the athletes. Make a paparazzi type media team to follow behind John Doe or Mary Jane A and B the entire season. Okay, it's happened in men's tennis. Who has Kyrgios offended?
Well, it would not work because.
But let me finish. No. Let's let you pick the two athletes. You make antagonist media teams follow those two throughout the entire season. You push them and you prod them to just really not like each other. And then you say, okay, since you guys now want to fight it out, let's set up a blockbuster match in Saudi Arabia or Manila or the Philippines, wherever. And let's square you off head to head and see who wins. Have a weigh-in, have everything, and really make it, not to where it's scripted, but make it to where these two athletes really don't like each other. Look at boxing when they weigh in, they're in each other's face, and they're like, yeah, I'm ripped up so I can eat your face off. You see Conor McGregor's like, yeah, I'm going to eat your lunch through your nose with my teeth. Make one match a year. Create opposing forces and promote it. Would you buy or sell that if it was done like the likes of Don King in boxing? Would you buy it?
No. Tennis is a gentleman's sport. I mean, that's why we don't like Kyrgios. I mean, you don't want to see this. You're teaching kids that they need to be this way. No. This is you battle it out on the tennis court, now outside of the tennis court. You don't need disrespectfulness. You don't need to promote bad behavior, bad attitudes. No, I disagree with you. Now, you would take a lot away from tennis.
Would you rather watch a well done type exhibition?
Man, there's too many exhibitions already. No.
Look, I'm not. It's not. It's not even an exhibition. Who cares if it was even? Papirin playing a Gasquet? As long as there was a genuine beef there, and you knew each one of them wanted to tear each other's face off.
I don't enjoy watching wrestling.
Would you watch it?
No way.
I would. I'd watch that. I'd be like, what? Let's
right,
go.
That's because you like watching MMA?
No.
Exactly. So no, you wouldn't like it.
But I don't like to watch people beating their heads in. This would be tennis balls.
No.
All right, I would buy into it if it was done properly by the right promoters, just like in boxing or just like in any type of one-on-one physical sport like that, in your face. Good promoters are what make Floyd Mayweather be a $500 million athlete. Good promoters make selling tickets high.
$500 million athlete without most of it. So, yeah.
Just saying. Okay, it's not my fault he bought 37 houses all over the world, doesn't live in none of them.
He did an MC Hammer.
Can't touch this. All right. So, I think we've already kind of pushed time constraints. I'm going to tease the lead into the next show with this topic. We're not going to talk about this topic. I'm going to tease this topic, and we're going to end the show. Okay? This topic I have heard, or we have heard, endlessly for the past year and a half. We have a couple of coaches out there that watch the show and communicate with us privately. I don't think I will mention a name on this one, but let's say some of them with the likes of physio and trainers for the likes of Pliskova, right?
Mm-hmm.
I won't mention a name at this point. We'll wait to the show, and I'm sure he'll watch this and say you can mention my name or not. But I'm not going to go there yet. But here's the topic, and this individual is just one of the many that has postulated this question for so very long. So we're going to start the next show with this topic. So think about it. Okay, here's the question. Okay, and if you don't know anything about it, you don't know anything about it. Here's the topic. Is it time to shut the USTA down? Is it time to shut the United States Tennis Association down? Okay, let's not even debate upon it. Why do I even bring this up? Things to talk about. We have $1 billion tennis industry or tennis facility in New York, roofs, building roofs, and second course with roofs. I've been there multiple times, strung there individually with some of the junior champions there. I've been there. You grew up there. The USTA, the United States Tennis Association, I think their responsibility is to make a good product.
They haven't made a good product since the 90s.
No, we make good TV product, and we make good advertising product, and we sell Heineken ads, and we sell Perrier ads, and all that stuff. But can we put out a men's player that's decent? Even a female player that's decent. We say Serena Williams. She didn't even do the USTA stuff.
She didn't even do the USTA stuff, exactly.
So let me just postulate this question one more time. Is it time to shut down the USTA or to limit their $1 billion expenditures to represent the United States as the breeding grounds of the next Pete Sampras?
I would say yes, definitely. It's time for them to step down.
Think about that. Next show, we're going to start with, is it time to shut down the USTA and why? You know, it's kind of like health insurance these days, or anything these days, you know? You have the richest people in the world spending billions of dollars in the drop of a hat, you know, to make a better TV ad or to create a better theatrical performance for those that buy tickets. However, what about putting that money into players and the tennis courts across this country that are falling apart and don't even have nets on them?
But and that's not the only problem.
That's just one of the many.
Coaches is the next problem. The coaches.
Anyway, next show we're going to start with, is it time to shut down the USTA and why? What good or bad would it do? And we're going to get into that at length. So we're going to take notes on that. I already had some, but we're going to start there next show. And I still have a whole lot more to go. I had a buying and selling category, which while Live 1 loves, I know that. I was going to have are you buying this and selling that? So we got another show ready, okay? Anyway, that's it, everyone. Happy holidays to all. Merry Christmas if that's your thing. It's something that we always enjoy to do. Happy New Year. We'll see you guys before that, and then get ready for the Australian Open 2020. We'll have our tennis racket giveaway, which, by the way, is for this YTEX V-Core 97, strung with YTEX Pro Tour Black. freshly sitting here. We'll do that, and we'll also do 5K tennis shirt giveaways and YTEX shirt giveaways for our fantasy team selections, and we'll get more into that as the Australian Open draws come closer to release. Please subscribe to our channel. Click like below. Please share our videos. Spread the word. Let's get down. But definitely subscribe. It means a lot. And we will see you guys soon. And as Carla always says,
Adios.
How do you say Merry Christmas?
Feliz
Navidad. Adios, guys. Happy holidays and have a very, very happy new year. Please subscribe to our channel, and we look forward to doing our next show. See you soon.